Good morning. One more time. Good morning. One more time. Good morning. Yeah. Welcome to the Keene Unitarian Universalist Church, or KUUC as we like to call it. My name is Sherry Buskey. I have been a friend of this church since December 2023, a member since May 2024. So excited. As a composer, musician, educator in this spiritual community and music program, I'm sorry, I'm choked up this morning. I sing with this choir and I'm a member of our music committee. All right, Donna. Today, our minister, Rowan Van Ness, is away from the pulpit. We are so grateful to have our own Dave Teubner as our worship leader. He is a fellow musician, photographer, member of our music program, our highly esteemed tech person, responsible for our YouTube live stream, very important to note, recordings and so many related details for our services. I love that Dave chose to dedicate your service to the concept of balance. Makes me think about related things such as the importance of balancing out negativity, negative attitudes of positivity, Wi-Fi, cell phone towers with living trees. I love that idea. The straightforward mechanisms of bicycles over those of other vehicles, far less polluting as well. It's a good thing. And so many other relevant ideas. I find it very inspiring. If you are new with us today, you are especially welcome. Please sign our guest book at the front of the sanctuary and come meet some amazing people at coffee hour in our parish hall through the doors to my right. Each week, we designate an ambassador to welcome newcomers and answer any questions you may have. This week, our ambassador is Carol Mills. Now I invite you to look at the back of your order of service and to recite with me KUUC's mission statement. I'll give you a moment to find that. The people of KUUC are committed to actively creating compassionate community and working for a fair and peaceful world. This manifests here in many ways, by the way. I invite you to explore our many programs in person and on our website as well. There are also upcoming events listed that might interest you. We are honored, for example, that our beautiful historic 1824 sanctuary will be the site of the ordination of our minister, Rowan Van Ness, on Saturday, May 17th. We hope you will join us. Please silence your cell phones, but you do not need to silence your children, whose noises are always welcome in our sanctuary. Once again, I say welcome. May you find in this hour of community, creativity, inspiration, joy, and challenge, a message worth hearing and many good reasons to join us again. Thank you.
Good morning. Our opening words are by Richard Feynman. He was an American theoretical physicist. He died in 1988. How is it that the tree is so smart as to manage to take the carbon dioxide, which is the carbon-oxygen nicely combined, and undo it so easily? Ah, life. Life has some mysterious force. No. The sun is shining, and it's the sunlight that comes down and knocks this oxygen away from the carbon. So it takes sunlight to get the plant to work. So the sunlight all the time is doing the work of separating the oxygen away from the carbon. The oxygen is some kind of terrible byproduct, which it spits back into the air. and leaves all the carbon and water to make the substance of the tree. Then when we take the substance of the tree and stick it in a fireplace, then all the oxygen made by the trees and all the carbon in the woods, or in the wood, would much prefer to be close together again. And once you let the heat get to it, it continues to burn, and makes an awful lot of activity while the carbon and oxygen go back together again. And all this nice light and everything comes out, and everything is being undone, and you're going back from carbon and oxygen back to carbon dioxide. And the light and heat that is coming out, that's the light and heat of the sun that went in. So it's sort of stored sunlight that's coming out when you burn it. And now, who's lighting the chalice this morning? Oh, Betty, why don't you come up and light the chalice? I have to hit the streaming button number 2. Hold on. You know, I am the tech person after all. All right, let's say the words in your order of service. We kindle this flame to remind ourselves of the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitments. And now we are going to sing hymn 314. We are children of the earth, and the choir is going to help people familiarize themselves with it. And I think Donna might play it through as well.
Right, where are all the youth and the young at heart who want to come and hear our story?
Come on down.
So I'm going to be reading the story from up here, and Mallory's going to be showing the pictures. We decided that this was a two-person story, at least. If I'd had like 3 weeks, I would have had you all involved in playing different parts, but I realized I had to let that vision go. So this is a story, how many people, put up your hands if you know the giving tree. All right, so put them down. Put your hands up if you think it's the greatest story and it has the best ending ever. I see some of these. Put up your hand if it's problematic in your mind. Isn't it wonderful to be UUs that we can put these problematic things out there? So this might be a challenge for some of you, but I want you to listen to it. If possible, like you've never listened to it before, forget about what your therapist said, no one should have to give that much, or whatever, right? We're just gonna listen, so. And you'll get a chance to talk about it, don't worry. So once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy. And every day the boy would come, and he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. He would climb up her trunk and swing from the branches and eat apples and play hide and seek. There's the problematic bit. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. And the boy loved the tree very, very much. And the tree was happy. But time went by, and the boy grew older. And the tree was often alone. And then one day, the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Oh, come, boy, come and climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and eat apples and play in my shade and be happy." "I'm too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money." "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I have only leaves and apples." "Oh, take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you will have money and you will be happy." And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away. Oh, the tree was happy again. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. Oh, I see some sad faces down there. Yeah, I'm glad you're listening to this story because there's a lot of emotion and feeling in this story. And then one day, the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy, and she said, "Oh, come, boy, climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and be happy." "I'm too busy to climb trees," said the boy. "I want a house to keep me warm," he said. "I want a wife and I want children, and so I need a house. Can you give me a house?" Oh, man, someone's thinking ahead down here. Man, I think you know what's going to happen. "I have no house," said the tree. "The forest is my house." So what do you think? What do you think the tree said then? The tree wanted to make him happy, so what do you think the tree was willing to do? Yes, over there. Cut the branches. You may cut off my branches and build a house, and then you will be happy. And so the boy cut off her branches and carried them away to build his house. And the tree was, what was the tree? Happy. Wait, a minute. It doesn't say but not really here. Oh. Okay, fine. But the boy stayed away for a long time. And when he came back, the tree was so... Oh, let me see it with your whole body, like your whole limbs and your branches and your twigs. All of you, happy, be a tree. Yes, so happy. She could hardly speak, she was so happy. Oh, come, boy, she whispered, come and play. I am too old and sad to play, said the boy. Is he still a boy? He's a man boy, yeah. I've met some of those. I want a boat that will take me far away from here. Well, okay, I'll try and keep up with you. Can you give me a boat? Oh, no, it's a lower voice, sorry. Can you give me a boat? Cut down my trunk and make a boat, said the tree, and then you can sail away and be... But not really. Whoopsies. Uh-oh. Oh, wow, it's quite a flood back here. It must mean I need a drink. All right, and so the boy cut down her trunk and made a boat and sailed away. And the tree was happy. Oh, it actually says it, but not really. We needed to hear that a few times. And after a long time, the boy came back again. I'm sorry, boy, said the tree, but I have nothing left to give you. My apples are gone. My teeth are too weak. Too weak for apples, said the boy. My branches are gone, said the tree. You cannot swing on them. Oh, I'm too old to swing on branches, said the boy. My trunk is gone, said the tree. You cannot climb. Oh, I'm too tired to climb, said the boy. Oh, I'm sorry, sighed the tree. I wish that I could give you something, but I have nothing left. Besides the stump, I'm just an old stump. I'm sorry. Well, I don't need very much, said the boy. Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I am so very tired. Well, said the tree, straightening herself up as much as she could, since she's a stump. Well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down and rest. Do you want to come up here? Next time, I'm going to get you. And the boy did. And the tree was... And the tree maybe was happy, and the tree could also have been... Could be what? I can't quite hear. Oh, definitive, happy. Oh, okay, happy, okay. Anybody else? What the tree might be feeling? I mean, you can feel being happy. Can you? Oliver, you hit the jackpot. So you can feel happy and you can feel at the same time, right? Anything else the tree might have felt? I mean, the tree's lost its everything. Like, I relate to the tree. I feel like the tree sometimes. The what? So the boy came, and despite being a little stump and giving everything away, the boy came. So those of you young people that have elders that spend a lot of time alone, just go visit, even if you don't think they have anything to give, because they have so much. Mallory wants us to sing the children out. Oh, it's blocks. Surround you as you go.
Okay, well, I guess it's David Teubner. Is he here somewhere? We're going to do the offering now. And if this church means as much as it does to me, please give until it feels good, as they say. And we welcome everyone at home watching on YouTube. You can go to our kuuc.org website and learn more about our church and ways to give. So right now, I'm going to sing Rainbow Race by Pete Seeger, and I got to push some buttons. Pete Seeger wrote this in 1971. So I believe it was after the blue ball earth you see on your order of service. So that was sort of the time people were thinking about Earth Day and starting to think about the environment. One blue sky above us, one ocean lapping all our shores, one earth so green and round, who could ask for more? And because I love you, I'll give it one more try. Show my rainbow race, it's too soon to die. Some folks want to be like an ostrich, bury their heads in the sand. Some hope their plastic dreams will unclench all those greedy hands. Some hope to take the easy way, poisons, bombs, they think they need them. Don't you know you can't kill all the young believers? There's no shortcut to freedom. Sing along if you know it. One blue sky above us, one ocean lapping all our shores, one earth so green and round, who could ask for more? And because I love you, I'll give it one more try to show my rainbow race, it's too soon to die. Go tell all the little children. Tell their mothers and fathers too. Now's our last chance to learn to share what we've been given to me and you. One blue sky above us, one ocean lapping all our shores, one earth so green and round. Who could ask for more? And because I love you, I'll give it one more try to show my rainbow race. It's too soon to die. One blue sky above us, one ocean lapping all our shores, one earth so green and round. Who could ask for more? We dedicate these gifts in service of our mission to actively create compassionate community and work for a fair and peaceful world. I guess that was in unison, wasn't it? So, right now we're going to do a poem by Deb McClay. She's going to come up, and then the silent meditation afterwards.
This is a poem I wrote back in 2006 while walking around our beautiful Wheelock Park here in Keene. It's called To Speak Without Words. I want to communicate without words. I long to speak in wood fires and waterfalls, old trees and tall grass, to dream in a bed of pine needles and dance with the shadows of the leaves. With my new language, I can say every soft shade of green in a spring wood. I will sing in the slant of the late afternoon sun and utter chipmunks and shooting stars. And when I touch, it will be with soft summer rains and midnight snow. There will be deep meanings in my new speech, like the bluest sky hidden just behind the clouds. I will be firm in my statements of rainforests and warm white sands, and loving in my declarations of fireflies and glowing night eyes. Echoing through the ages, my new tongue will nourish and heal like the soil in the sea. And if ever you hear me, come down with me, deep into my voice, and slowly, silently, settle into my shady glen and tell me without words. Now I'm going to ask you to settle into your seats, and we're going to have a moment of spoken meditation and then a moment of silent meditation. Our body is a masterpiece of the cosmos. This is from Thich Nhat Hanh, sorry. Our body is a masterpiece of the cosmos. Our body carries within it the stars, the moon, the universe, and the presence of all our ancestors. How many millions of years of evolution has it taken to give rise to these wondrous 2 eyes, legs, feet, and hands? Countless life forms are supporting our existence in this moment. Reconnecting with our physical body takes only a few moments of stopping and breathing with awareness. And let us enter a moment of silence. Blessed be and blessed are we.
So our reading is an excerpt from Carl Sagan's speech to Congress concerning climate change in 1985. And this is excerpts. Thanks very much, Senators, because the global warming effects occupy more than a single human generation. There's a tendency to say that the effects are not our problem. Of course, then they are nobody's problem. Not on my tour of duty, not on my term of office. It is something for the next century. Let the next century worry about it. But the problem is that there are effects, and the greenhouse effect is one of them, which have long-time constants, long-term constants, or have effects. If you don't worry about it now, it's too late later on. And so in this issue, as in so many other issues, we are passing on extremely grave problems for our children when the time to solve the problem, if they can be solved at all, is now in 1985. I'd like to stress that the greenhouse effect makes life on Earth possible. If there were not a greenhouse effect, the temperature would be, as I say, about 30 centigrade degrees colder. And that's well below freezing point of water everywhere on the planet. The oceans would become solid after a while. A little greenhouse effect is a good thing, but there is a delicate balance of these invisible gases, and too much or too little greenhouse effect can mean too high or too low of a temperature. And here we are pouring enormous quantities of CO2 and these other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere every year, with hardly any concern about its long-term and global consequences. Here's a problem that transcends our particular generation. It is an intergenerational problem if we don't do the right thing now. There are very serious problems that our children and grandchildren will have to face. It is also a global problem. It is no good if just one or two major industrial nations take major steps to prevent a major increase. Still further in CO2 and other greenhouse gases, because other nations may, through their industrial development, cause the problem by themselves. I think that what is essential for this problem is a global consciousness, a view that transcends our exclusive identifications with the generational and political groupings into which, by accident, we have been born. The solution to these problems requires a perspective that embraces the planet and the future, because we are all in this greenhouse together. And let me check the order of service. All right, I guess it's my time for my sermon. Anyway, okay. How to start a subject like ecology? How about a definition? Ecology is the study of the relationships between living organisms, including humans, and their physical environment. It seeks to understand the vital connections between plants and animals in the world around us. I believe global weather changes are the most urgent concerns we have currently in the world. The political chaos in the world today stems from our Earth's diminished capacity to sustain our lives, and not necessarily on the current administration. Our planet is the only real wealth that anyone has. Any other idea of wealth is illusory. The current global conflict and upheaval is a symptom of a failing ecosystem, first and foremost. This I believe. Perhaps you've seen the chaotic weather, excessive rain hitting regions and flooding them out, excessive heat waves making outdoor work impossible, freakish hailstorms with hail the size of baseballs. Even the region called Tornado Alley is shifting more to the southeast and Midwest. The climate is increasingly out of balance. Question: when will climate change happen? Answer: it's happening now. I have a friend who thinks things are going great. He doesn't think climate change is happening. I don't argue with him. I simply ask, can you have infinite growth on a finite planet? Well, obviously not. He can't seem to answer me back. We are all occupants on this global spaceship called the Earth, and we are all interdependent. What happens to you happens to me as well. The famous Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh said somewhere that if you want to point to your true self, point outward toward the world. There I am, that is me. What can this famous Buddhist monk possibly mean? I am the sky, I am the air that I breathe, I am the soil, I am the water, I am the wind, I am the earth. But do we really feel it? Well, here's proof. Where did our atoms come from? All of our atoms came from ancient stars that have lived their whole lives, eventually exploding as supernovae, and in that process created the heavier elements. Before our sun was in our sky, there were other suns that lived their whole lives, converting hydrogen and helium into heavier elements, and they went supernova. We are indeed stardust, amazing. Therefore, we truly can say that we grow out of the earth, even as the apple grows out of an apple tree. This was one of Alan Watts' favorite metaphors. Dane Wingington of geoengineeringwatch.org says in his weekly podcast that the current human dilemma is like people in a car arguing about what radio station to listen to as their car crashes through a guardrail and is heading to the bottom of a canyon. Imagine that. The human race is essentially arguing over what radio station to listen to. I think that is an apt metaphor of humanity's current situation as regards to the climate. We are in the denial phase. We say it isn't happening, nothing to see here, just move along. Current accounts of how much oil we use to power our civilization is about 100 million barrels a day. 100 million. And the amount of coal that is burned each day globally is about 24 million tons. 24 million tons of coal a day. That's like setting off 13 Hiroshima-type atomic bombs per second, every second. I really dislike this analogy because it uses units of measurement based on the event during World War II that killed about 140,000 Japanese in the town of Hiroshima, Japan on August 6th, 1945. The reason that Hiroshima and Nagasaki 3 days later were chosen as targets of our experimental new bomb was that these two cities were intact and hadn't yet suffered any significant war damage. They would make a good case study and were chosen to test the power of the bomb. 13 Hiroshima-type atomic bombs per second of heat we are using as a species, day in, day out. Surely the air cannot hold that amount of excess heat. It turns out that 80 to 90% of excess human heat production ends up in the oceans. The oceans are a massive heat sink which has regulated the planet's temperatures up until recently. Now the oceans are beginning to overheat. Water can absorb 1,000 times as much heat as the atmosphere, so the severity of the climate change can remain masked for decades until the oceans catch up. Then we hit a tipping point where the climate becomes erratic. We can get erratic Gulf Stream currents and other unforeseen consequences. Excessive CO2 in the oceans gets converted into carbonic acid, which begins to dissolve sea creature shells and skeletons. Excessive industrial runoff entering the streams and rivers with its increase in nitrogen and phosphorus creates destructive algae blooms, poisoning the environment. But the world doesn't want to think about it. The world is too hell-bent on grinding up the rest of our natural resources and turning it into money of all things. A return on investment is what often matters. You'll hear people say something about protecting the shareholders or some other such nonsense. It's the myth of progress. That brings me to the word myth. Our cultural myths are not falsehoods, as you might think. A myth is simply a big idea. Myths abound in the world. God will save us is a myth, a grand idea, an image. Technology will save us is another myth. The myth of progress is one of our greatest myths. We must be careful that we aren't deceived by our myths. We must explore our myths carefully and see if they are outdated and no longer serve us as a species. The giving tree was an example of such a myth, that the environment could just keep giving. I don't know if any of you watched the Monty Python movie, The Life of Brian. Show of hands. It's irreverent, I know, but this movie takes place in Jerusalem in the time of Jesus, but follows another character named Brian. The folks have confused him with the Messiah. I don't know how, but in one scene, the rebel disciples are planning an attack on the Romans' presence in Jerusalem. They are discussing ways of getting rid of the Romans once and for all. The leader, played by actor John Cleese, angrily asks, "What did the Romans ever do for us?" One rebel says, "The aqueduct." Another says, "Sanitation." Another says, "The wine." This is making John Cleese's character very frustrated because he's trying to whip up the rebels' fury. So he concedes, "All right, apart from the sanitation, medicine, education, wine, public order, irrigation, roads, the freshwater system, and public health, what have the Romans ever done for us?" Finally, one rebel says, "Brought peace?" And he says, John Cleese's character says, "Shut up!" So there's the rub. We've all benefited from all this progress. And it seems ludicrous to try to reverse all those benefits. But what we don't seem to understand is that by burning fossil fuel, aka stored sunlight, as Richard Feynman described, we have transported our society about 10,000 years into the future. This is my estimate. Far beyond where we would have been if we had lived sustainably. So we overshot our environment by about 10,000 years. Good job. We went from the Wright brothers powering the first motorized airplane in 1903 to landing astronauts on the moon in 1969 in a mere blink of an eye. Chief Seattle is recorded as saying, as his homeland was being sold to the United States government in 1854, Chief Seattle said, "When the green hills are covered with talking wires and the wolves no longer sing, what good will the money you paid for our land be then?" So I say there is no promised land. That is another great idea, a myth. Getting to Mars isn't going to save us either, another myth. Nor is building bases on the moon. Building border walls isn't going to save us either, nor is expelling immigrants and other asylum seekers. We need to forget about the biggest myth going, that a promised land, that of a promised land. We think if we can just get out of this place and get to that other place, then we will be safe. Or if we could do X, Y, or Z, would be okay. Last week we heard about the ancient Hebrews who left Egypt and wandered in the desert for 40 years. We as global citizens are like them. We are wandering in the desert, but The reality is humanity has actually walked in a big circle and ended back in Egypt. And as it is that we are back where we started from, we should now realize that there is no promised land, and the Egyptians are suffering along with us. Their plagues are our plagues. When the river Nile floods, we too are flooded. When gnats and other natural disasters avail them, we too suffer. When their children die, our children die too. That seems to be the proper metaphor for our current world. Any new myth, any new great idea has to be one that informs us all. We are all in this together on Starship Earth. We are one single humanity. This realization is profoundly sobering to me and frightens me. As Thich Nhat Hanh said, if we want to point to myself, or if I want to point to myself, I point outward to the world. And we must be aware of false narratives. We must not think in simple terms as us versus them. Many of the false narratives in the news paint a simplistic narrative which is created to divide us and make us fight amongst ourselves. This fighting only wastes precious time. There is an authoritarian agenda afoot, and infighting is something that can only lead to more cracking down on invented dissidents and the like. The wolf is crouching at the door. So where's the good news? It's our faith and traditions as you use. Our values and principles represent a type of lifeboat, a vessel whose structure is made from the beams and columns, which are our 7 principles. My favorite principles are numbers 1 and 7. The inherent worth and dignity of every person, and respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are all a part. Where do we go from here? We hold on. We build relationships. We help the fearful. We understand our interconnectedness. We simplify. Perhaps we travel less. We recycle more. We create more energy-efficient homes and lives. We walk slowly, deliberately toward a sustainable planet. We avoid us versus them thinking. We may realize, metaphorically speaking, that we are back in Egypt and that we will never really escape anything. Let's face it, we need to solve the problems that we have created together. We can't run away or blame others. We must behave responsibly, soberly. May it be so. And I think we have a hymn, right? We're going to be singing hymn 1064 in the smaller teal songbook called Blue Boat Home, 1064.
Low below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling drifting here with my ship's companions. Oh, we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me. Hail the great winds urging me on. Breathe the infinite sea before me. Sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor nor port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
All right, now we are going to invite Betty back. Oh, yeah. And we're going to extinguish our chalice and say the words that are written in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with the world until we are together again. The benediction. Let us continue to grow as citizens of our communities, our nation, and our world. Let us work to build the common good for ourselves and the generations to come. May it be so. Amen.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, bright, blessed day and sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, and also in the faces of the people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, What a wonderful world. And I think to myself, what a wonderful